Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. I'm Gav. This is Ashley. That's Kev. Liverpool 2, Lille 1 in the Champions League group stage thing. And Liverpool are 7 from 7 in the Champions League. 3 points clear of Barcelona going into the final game. And it's another win for the Reds. It's a few changes, it's loads of subs, couple of goals. It's all good. Kev, straight into it.
Yeah, mate.
No messing about because we're late starting because of the 8 o'clock kickoff. Um, it's a good win. Were you surprised at the team that was announced tonight? I was a little bit surprised, but he changed
I
a few.
was. It changed a few when we were doing. Myself and Chris were chatting about it last night. I was banging for loads of changes. I wanted to see Chiesa come in. I wanted to see Elliott start. I kind of guessed Virgil would start, but I didn't expect Gravenberch. Got to be honest, didn't expect to see Gravenberch start. But at the same time, it looked like the substitutions were planned for him. I think the Jones one was forced. Um, all in all, look, it was a much changed side, and it was a really professional, controlled performance against a very good side who are not used to losing.
I was
So
very impressed by them.
I was very impressed in the first half with their
First
shape,
half, yeah,
with everything on the ball. I thought they were a lot better than what I thought they were because I watched their highlights the other night against Nice, and Nice could have carved them open 3 or 4 times. So I thought, this could be good. This could be a good game. But I thought I enjoyed it because I wouldn't. I was looking more for the performance of players, rather than the result. I knew if we had a performance, the result would take care of itself. But we were safely through into in the last eight, no matter what happened. So it's kind of nice to be able to watch a game completely relaxed rather than watching a Premier League game where it's like nerves shredded at times. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Um, Actually, when we look at the lineup, Allison plays. I think most expected that, but excuse me, Trent comes out, Bradley comes in, Kanate goes out, Kwanzaa comes in, Simicast keeps his place. Um, In the midfield, he changes out McAllister for Jones, and up front he changes out Gakpo for Nunez. So a little bit of positional change there as well. Diaz starting left hand side. Um, it felt like if it's enough. It's enough changes, I think. You might agree or not agree with the type of changes he's made, but it's the right amount of changes, probably in my opinion. But it felt like a very Liverpool performance to me, where it was just, we'll do this at our own pace. We'll do this in our own time, and we'll, you know, we'll put out as much energy as we need to, and then that's it. It felt very kind of. If someone said pragmatic there, that's probably it. It felt like a really pragmatic. Get it done, get away, make changes, make subs. Everyone's happy.
Yeah, it as the game progressed, it actually felt really balanced. I think a lot of times we've made substitutions and the team has looked um it just hasn't looked cohesive. And today it looked cohesive. And I think there were a lot of players that got minutes today, like Kwanzaa. I thought he looked really solid today. He didn't have any howlers. I think, in games past, we've looked wobbly. I've looked at him as like, oh shit, like he's an accident waiting to happen. I didn't feel like that today. Connor Bradley stepped right back into the role, looked great today. I thought the midfield worked pretty well, given that it wasn't our typical go-to starting 11 midfield. Even the front line, I thought it worked really well. So it felt like the right amount of changes. I do agree. I thought that Gravenberch would get a rest. I hope he gets a rest next game. I really hope he gets a rest next game.
Yeah, in fairness, he does Gravenberch and Szoboszlai and only gives them 45, and that to me feels like, lads, go out and play 45, and that's just a ticking over exercise for me. Instead of just them being, what is it, Ipswich at the weekend, instead of them being, like having played during the week. Kev, there just seems to be a load of players in this team that just love to play football and love to be in a rhythm. And maybe Slot has to drag them back a bit and go, listen, you're only playing 45. But there's Mo Salah running around for 94.
Well, here's the thing. Look at the bench. All right. You look at the bench tonight. All right. You have McAllister, Elliott, Endo, Chiesa, Trent, all got on.
Yeah.
Kelleher, Yaros, Robertson, Kanate, Morton, Gakpo, Dans.
Yeah.
Sat watching. we've got Curtis Jones. Sorry, not Curtis Jones. Sorry, Diogo Jota and Joe Gomez unavailable at the moment. We've got a really deep squad, and I know everyone will, look at it. It's January. We need to do this, that, and the other. We've got a really deep squad, and there's a lot of players there that didn't get any minutes tonight, who can be angst at the idea of missing a Champions League night
Like who?
in the short term. In the short term, Cody Gakpo would love to have played tonight.
Yeah, but Colin Gakpo's played a shitload of football.
I know.
Someone in the front line had to be sacrificed tonight.
But I love the idea of having players who don't get on the pitch, who are good enough to start. It shows how deep for me the squad is. Do you get me? It's like it's not a case they're going to be angry and pissed off or whatever. It just goes to show how deep the squad really is. And you'll see all the hullabaloo online about how we're paper thin and all. We really fucking ain't. We really ain't. The squad is as balanced as you get. It's got everything in it. And at the moment, we're firing on all cylinders. I think the injuries or the knocks that we looked like we could have picked up tonight forced Arne Slot's hand a little bit with some of the changes that he made, especially the Curtis Jones one. I don't think he planned on making that one. I think he would have loved to have pulled Szoboszlai off at halftime, but it had to be Curtis. He looks like he did himself no favour staying on for that extra 5 minutes. But no, look, I don't see how going into the second half of the season, we're in really good shape, and everything's to play for. There's no other way to look at it. You have to be optimistic here. It doesn't really get much better than this at the moment. Yeah. If you were saying it to someone in August, right, you're going to be 6 points clear with a game in hand in the Premier League, and you're top of the Champions League group stages with one game to go, and you're done. Right, yeah, thank you very much. Oh, and by the way, throw in a League Cup semi-final, and you're in the fourth round of the FA Cup as well.
Yeah,
new manager. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely all good. Like, don't get me wrong. I think he was quite clever in what he done tonight with the team he played, and yes, I think Jones would have played on a lot longer if he hadn't got that. It was an unfortunate when he just goes into a tackle and ends up doing the splits like he was. I don't know, at the Olympics,
I think he probably
doing the
tried to
floor
run it
exercises, all them.
Yeah.
But that's an unfortunate one. But I think overall, like, you see Chiesa getting that few more minutes, look really bright. We'll get back to him in a bit. Elliott comes on, gets a goal. We'll come back to him in a bit. And just even Endo coming on, just tightening things up, winning ball, keeping it simple. It just worked out really well. Actually, on Lille though, I looked at the lineup when it came up, and your man's name rang a bell with me. The fella on the left side of the midfield, is it Cabella or?
Yeah.
I know his name from somewhere, and I think I heard the commentator saying he was at Newcastle at one stage.
I think he had one season there.
Yeah, and then I couldn't remember him at Newcastle,
Was
and
it
then I was really confused because I was like, I know the name, but was it Newcastle? And then the fella on the zone just literally spent the whole game telling us about the permutations of the league every time a goal went in. At one stage, you went, Liverpool still, 4 points clear of Barcelona, or 6 points clear of Barcelona, but their goal difference is now 10 as opposed to 12. And I was like, who gives a fuck, mate? You know what I mean? We're watching the game, but your man on the zone was a bit mad. But just on Lille, actually, they come to Anfield. They're not expected to win the game. They don't win the game in the end, but they weren't frightened to play the ball. They weren't frightened to play. They moved around when they needed to. They got into shape when they needed to. I was quite impressed with them.
Yeah, I think their big weakness was their high line. And I think we tried to exploit the high line with that long cross-field ball, specifically from Van Dijk, like half a dozen times. I think Diaz actually played it as well quite a lot. But outside of that, I mean, they stayed in the game. And I guess that's the most credit I can give them. And especially even when they went a man down, like, it didn't look like they went a man down. And maybe that's because we weren't really capitalizing on it, but, they kept their positions really well. And I think, they didn't look extremely dangerous. I think Jonathan David is always going to be kind of that poacher in the box, and there's a reason why clubs are looking at him. But I just thought it was a really solid away day performance from them. I mean, like, they're where they are in the table for a reason. They should qualify, I think, provided they win their last game. I think it's against Feyenoord.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be fine. But yeah, they deserve to be where they are.
Yeah, I think they'll give whoever they get in the playoffs, they'll give a good run. And even if they get through a playoff, I think they'll give any of the top 8 sides a game, in fairness to them. Raz says, Jason Cundy is being a wanker on TalkSport. First of all, what are you doing listening to them? Like, what are you doing listening to them? Like, straight after the game, Emmett messaged us saying, oh, Kenny Cunningham is on Premier Sports here, basically saying, scrappy as usual from Liverpool, but they got the win. You know, stop listening to these people. When the final whistle goes, just turn the fucking telly off. Like, it's not that hard. If these people annoy you that much, I don't know why you go looking for it. Turn the telly off. Ring a friend. Ring a mate that supports Liverpool and chat to them. Do you know what I mean? It's the best thing to do. Honest to God. I don't know how people fucking put up with it. Couple of players I want to go through, and we go through goals and stuff as well. Kev, I'll come to you first. Really happy with Jarell Quansah tonight. Didn't do anything spectacular. Didn't do anything, that stood out. And I was delighted by that. Just done his job, won his headers, tracked stuff, kicked it out when he needed to kick it out, passed it well. Just an overall 7 out of 10 centre-half performance, which, you don't want your centre-halves having outstanding games because it means something's going wrong. But that's perfect for him. A game like that where it's tough, he has to have concentration, he has to be watching what he's doing, he has to be in line with Virgil, he has to be watching Bradley, and I think he does everything. I can't remember a mistake from him. Really good to see that from him tonight, considering the seasons he's had.
He was excellent. I mean, you look at you go back and if you ever look, nobody's going to go back and watch the highlights of the first half. I loved the first half because it was one of those tactical battles that you see in Europe a lot. Their press was really good. They never jumped it, but they blocked off the ball into Gravenberch really well for that half. So if you're knocking the ball around the back with the keeper as well, it's absolute concentration. Every pass has to hit its mark all the time. Not just that, you have to hit that pass to the right side of the player that you're passing it to, because any slight mistake, they'll pounce. And they were waiting for a mistake, because if you get one wrong, it wasn't just 1 or 2. They were pressing with 5, and they were backing that up with another 2. And at times when we were knocking the ball around at the back, we were in a 4-2-4. When Szoboszlai creeped up, we literally left 4 up to force their back 4 to stay back, to try to create space somewhere, to look for that ball over the top. And Quansah is key in to try to create space for Virgil to be able to play the pass, usually by holding the ball long enough to tease someone into it and get his pass off to make sure it gets to Virgil in enough time and space for Virgil to be able to pick a pass. It sounds really simple. It's one mistake, and we're having a very different conversation about Jarell Quansah. And guarantee you, for 97 minutes or 94 minutes he was on the pitch, he would have known that. It's like this was a massive game for him. It was his first Champions League start. It was.
Yeah, I was surprised when I heard that at the start of the game. Yeah,
I was surprised by that as well. But also, you got to remember, Conor Bradley's coming back from injury. So you have Conor Bradley coming back from injury. You have Jarell Quansah, who hasn't really been playing much. Both of them have to be right on it against the side, who are, as I said before, really well organised, pass the ball really quickly, and have a striker who's banging form in the competition. I think he scored 6 goals in the competition going into tonight. So, 100% concentration, did really well. Really happy for him. He's got to back it up now next time he plays.
Yeah.
And that's the problem for him, because he might not play for another 3 weeks.
He might not, but I've no issue with him. I've no issue with him if he doesn't play for 3 weeks, but I'd rather him come in off the back of this performance than the back of a Brighton in the League Cup performance or the Ipswich performance. You know, the sort of way. It's a nice settler for him. Actually, beside him, Virgil van Dijk is doing Virgil van Dijk things. We kind of leave him alone. Tsimikas had a very non-plus game, and I'm absolutely fine with that as well. He was done nothing wrong.
Yeah, he was fine.
Wins a really good tackle for the opening goal, which we'll talk about in a minute. But Bradley beside him started off a bit shaky, I thought. Got caught by what seemed to be like pace down their left hand side that didn't seem to be there, but it was. He gets caught a couple of times. He plays one bad ball right into the middle of the pitch in the first half, about 20 minutes in, that gets Lille back on the attack. But other than that, very intelligent at protecting the ball, up and down all the time. The amount of angles he's making for Mo Salah, that doesn't pass it to him, but it makes an angle where he's opening things up. Again, 6 or 7 out of 10. It's probably 7. Let's not go 6. I don't like the idea. 6 out of 10. 7 out of 10 game. A guy coming back again, like Kev says, from injury. European game. Another, string to his bow, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's what, 2 21-year-olds both on that right side of defense. I mean, they looked solid. And I mean, yeah, they're going to have, a few cobwebs to get out of the way. And I think, especially with running and things like that, like it's going to take at least 15 minutes for him to get up to speed. I mean, there were a few times where he had like a mazy run all the way up. There was one right around 20 minutes where he played a great ball to Salah, and then Salah just overcooked his pass to Diaz just slightly, but it was one of those that deserved a finish. And I mean, like, he's one of those players that every time I see him, I feel like that part of the pitch is in such good hands should anything happen to Trent. I know that, the future's the future and we don't know what's going on there. And we might, if he does leave, need another senior pro in that area. But like, I'm excited by Connor Bradley. I think he looks strong, and I think he looks like he's always full of like so much energy, and it's just, he looks like he enjoys playing every time he's out there, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, and he's really cool on the ball. Like, he's not afraid to come inside or take a couple of touches, pass it across the back, put it into midfield. Like, he probably got a bit over comfortable in that pass I was thinking of. He just plays one literally from near the corner flag right into the middle of the pitch, but he's probably looking for someone and it didn't come off. But yeah, look, I'm not saying that Connor Bradley is an absolute, nailed on cert to replace Trent if Trent leaves, but he's a serious future in the game because the energy he has to get up and down. He's good in the tackle. He's not afraid. He's good in the tackle. He's good on the ball. He's a good delivery from across. There's one in the second half where he should actually pull it back to Nunez or square it to Diaz, and I actually think he is trying to square it to Diaz, and he just completely miskicks her over the bar. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there, but it was a good performance there. Look, in midfield, first half, I thought McAllister was good in the first half. Gravenberch was quiet, but I think they were honing in on Gravenberch. When Kev talks about that 5-man press, it was very much down the centre of the pitch where they go, right, we're pressing and we're not letting these gaps in the middle of the pitch appear. So Gravenberch was just doing things nice and tidy. Szoboszlai was trying to get going, but there's nothing to write home about, I don't think. In midfield, it was just a job done, and we'll talk a bit more about second half. Kev, coming to you though, the front three. Diaz was in and out for me. Showed some spark, got down the line, great ball into Salah. Just a little bit high for Salah, who's trying to volley it. They really got tight on him, but look, he kept the ball, he moved the ball, he didn't give it away too many times, he got in behind him once or twice. It's another good run out for him. He did look like he had a bit of an issue though, before he come off. I hope that's okay.
That's a worry, because
now he ran her off, just to let people know.
I think he slowed up, and it looks like he was holding his stomach or something. Now, whether he got a dig or
different things everywhere. Someone said he was holding his Achilles. Someone said he was holding his leg.
If it was his Achilles, he wouldn't have walked off the way he did. I thought he reached for his stomach, and something didn't look right about it for me, because they made the change straight away. They didn't bring
it would be interesting to see if the change was coming anyway.
I think it would have been, but I don't think it would have come then. I think it was coming in maybe a few minutes later, probably on 80 minutes. That's when he likes to make his change. But look, it came on 74. So he had a decent game. He did all right. It looked like he hadn't played out in the wing for a while. He still had to almost rebuild his relationship with Costas.
A few in the chat are actually saying it was a groin issue then. So
exactly. So it's been a different. Everyone has a different thing.
Turns out he has a headache.
I'll
something
see if there's anything
wasn't right
there.
Yeah, something wasn't right with him for sure. But look, I thought he had a decent game. Didn't set the world alight. Didn't do anything disastrous. Worked really hard. And I think he had to. Off the ball against them, you have to work hard, because the front three pressed all night. Especially in the first half, forcing mistakes, not off the initial press, but forcing them to play that longer pass a bit faster than what they wanted to. And it was then Costas and Bradley were sweeping up second balls. And yeah, overall he did fine. It did him no harm. But I wouldn't have minded him having the night off. Genuinely, I wouldn't have minded seeing Chiesa get an hour and let Diaz come in and finish it off. I don't think there was much to be gained from seeing Luis Diaz playing out in the left wing. We know what he can do.
Yeah.
We don't know what Chiesa can do given time in a game. But saying that, he did fine. We've seen him play better. We've seen him play a lot worse.
Yeah.
So, all right. I'm that way with him.
The other two are probably more of a talking point coming into the game. The fact that Salah's playing, and he does the 90. But I genuinely think Salah just goes to slot and goes, just play me every game.
Yeah.
Just play me every game.
I'm
absolutely
I'll tell you
fine.
when I need a rest.
And the medics are coming to him going, this fella's a machine. He'll play 90 and then he'll go out and play for the reserves if you need him to. It's just one of those. But actually, I think Salah has a really quiet evening. I think he's in great space. He pulls out wide. He stretches them. He's trying a couple of the balls into the box. Doesn't work. It felt very much like Salah just, again, keeping himself ticking over. But he scores. It's a really good tackle by Tsimikas. Who nicks it off. It was David, I think. He nicks it off. And in fairness to Jones, he turns, he plays a brilliant ball through. The keeper comes out. Salah just takes one look at him and that's grand, and just bends it into the corner, and it's 1-0 to Liverpool. And I wouldn't say it was against the run of play, but it was very much welcome because I thought Liverpool were struggling to break these down a little bit. And maybe that was because of the pace we were playing at. But is he the first man for Liverpool to reach 50 goals in European Cup? Or I read something along them lines, and that's me looking at something about 4 minutes after the game. But Salah goal, Ashley. He'd gone three without a goal. The last time he went 4 without a goal was in 2023. But he knocked that in the head fairly quick. Good goal for him, because you don't want Salah going in 4, 5, 6 games without a goal. You don't. You just like him taking over with goals, don't you?
You do, and I think he's one of the ones that I wouldn't have minded him getting some time off today. I think he has looked a little bit tired. He hasn't been quite as effective in the last maybe like 2-3 games, and that's us being spoiled because he had gone something like 10 plus games with a goal involvement, and to have him be quiet for 2 or 3 games in a row just feels like such an oddity. So just getting him back on the score sheet, getting him back in his flow or his rhythm. I mean, I don't think there's any issue there. I mean, he's fit as ever. He's clearly, doing all the things he needs to do. I think sometimes he just has these little dips in form. So the sooner he gets out of the dip, the better. And it was a great goal. I mean, I sent a message in our Telegram. I'm like, Chris is so lucky to have been able to see that live, because it was just one of those start to finish goals where it was just kind of like a quintessential Mo Salah goal. And it was just beautiful to see.
The quote here that you put in earlier, I'll just read it out because it is on Salah. Salah, I'm becoming the fourth Liverpool player to score 50 goals in Europe. He says, hopefully it's not the last one. I wasn't focused on the record before the game. It's something I'm very happy and proud of, but the team won. That's the most important thing. Kev, Darwin Nunez, 2 goals the weekend. Everyone going, right, what are we going to get out of him? A mixed bag, I thought. I thought he worked extremely hard. He does. I think he does. He chases back an awful lot in the first half. He wins a couple of balls. He actually breaks up he fells a guy while they're on the break in the first half. And I was like, I'm okay with that. He should probably
tackling defender.
Yeah, he should be. He should probably be put through by Jones when he makes a lovely run, and he doesn't get it. He gives a good one over to Salah on the break. They don't set up many chances for him. In fairness, there's not many clear-cut chances in this game. There are more shots and coming inside defenders and stuff like that. But overall, I thought it was an okay performance from Darwin Nunez. A couple of loose passes start the second half. I think he's way too unselfish to try flick one to Elliott late on, and then he's offside for one where you're going, what's going? Like genuinely, he should be onside. Like he's like the ball gets shot and he's like standing beside the goalkeeper, and then he has the fucking nerve to celebrate like it's everything is grand. But overall, in a game that Liverpool, I don't think they create chances for each other. I think people create chances for themselves more than anything else. It was an okay game from Darwin, yeah.
Darwin won more tackles in that game than anyone else. He won 4 tackles, so he worked his nuts off. did everything outside the box that you want him to do. I don't like the way he lays balls off. He did one in the second half where last year he'd have turned and ran.
He done two in quick succession.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
But there was one.
in fairness to him, I'll put up a defence to him. The first one he tries to whip one out to Salah and he shouldn't. He should actually turn and run like you said. The second one is a loose pass. He actually chases back and ends up on the left wing and wins it back. So I will put that out in his defence, but he shouldn't have to be running back to defend. Really.
Have to.
Yeah.
But I think other than the not getting himself back on side for when Chiesa has his shot, I thought as a number 9, he was fine. I mean, Footmob have given him man of the match, but that man of the match is based on him getting the most tackles in the game. But the other side of it is he had one effort on goal. He had one effort on goal on the right hand side. Instead of chipping the keeper, he tried to drive it low and on the ground.
Yeah.
That's a striker not having the muscle memory of, right, I'm in this position against this keeper with this ball. This is the finish I need.
Yeah.
That shot
didn't need to be chipped. I think it just needed to be driven the way it was, but lifted maybe a foot off the ground when it's in.
Yeah. Along the ground, it's all in the keeper's favour. If he doesn't get his body behind it, he gets his legs behind it. He gets something on it. But you lift it, and he's got to use his hands, and he's off balance. But that's the difference between a poacher and a striker of what Darwin is. You know, he's not that kind of instinctive finisher. And no matter how hard he tries, he'll never be that. So, it's just, he'll go through his career. He'll go, whatever happens with Darwin in the summer, I think if he goes to a club, and I'm not saying like a mid-table Premier League club, but a club who sits deeper when they're on the ball, allowing space in behind for him to play into, he'll wreak havoc in some leagues. I can see him in the Bundesliga or in La Liga having a field day against some of the defenders that are there because of the pace that he's got and the work rate and the energy. And, you know, I still love the fact as well that he doesn't give defenders a second's rest. You know, they have to be aware and about him all the time. They cannot rest on their laurels and say, let him go, let him do something. No, he's always on their case. And a defender will come off a game against him knowing that they've been in a really hard one. But at the same time, I would be really worried. I mean, I think the last game was I mean, fuck's sake, I'd back you to score that one that landed at his feet. You know, that was Johnny on the spot, not moving, hit it, and it went in. The second one was a good finish, but I'd be really worried if we really depended on him to get a goal to win a game.
Yeah,
I don't think he's ever going to be that player. I think sometimes it'll work, and we'll have days like the Brentford game. But I think over a season, there are going to be games where he's going to cost you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the evidence is there that, you know, he could cost you because of misses and stuff. But I think off the back of the game on Saturday, I don't think Darwin Nunez would have been forgiven to come out there like a lunatic, running around like a lunatic. I have the crowd on his side. Now, he's always had the Anfield crowd on his side. They've never been against him. But I think, you know, I'm riding the crest of a wave here of them 2 goals. I'm going to actually go out here, run. But he doesn't. It's actually he's quite controlling what he's doing.
Yeah.
And look, he gives 2 away, and you're going to go, look at him. But I can tell you that I'm not telling you about Bradley doing it. Okay?
Yeah.
Curtis Jones gives the ball away on our left-hand side when he's literally bar Virgil van Dijk, the last man. And he gives it away to Lille, and we have to funnel back. You know, loads of people misplace passes. It just seems it stands out way more when he does it because he's back to his normal self. I thought it was a decent game as a centre forward. And to be fair, I think if you put a Jota in there, you know, I don't think Jota would have had much of a different game. One thing I would say is, and I agree, Shawnee said something, I think it might have been Shawnee in our WhatsApp, he said, Dan scores that chance. Because Dan's would look at the keeper and go, he's going down, grand, and put it up a bit higher, because that's we've seen Dan's do that. But overall, look, he works extremely hard. He doesn't give them a minute. Couple of good things in play. Misses one chance, but overall, I'm not going to turn around and go, look, flash in the pan on Saturday. Let's see how he goes the next one.
Oh, you got to back him. I agree with what Shawnee and Keith were both saying, and Emmett at the weekend when you were talking. Is like you back him. I back him today. I would love nothing more than to be wrong. I'd love nothing more than in 2 years' time, Darwin Nunez to have bagged 50 goals for the club in the next 2 years. I'd love nothing more.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to trust your eyes, and your eyes sometimes, as much as I'd love to see them lie to me, I don't think they are in this case.
Mm-hmm. Actually, honestly, the goal we concede is like, there's the goal we concede all the time.
Yeah.
Where the player gets down inside our fullback, pulls it across, one of us gets a touch in it, it falls out to a guy, our midfielders aren't tracking, fella shoots, gets blocked, fucking all sorts of messiness happening. But it just seems to be, if we can see the goal, it's coming from one of the fullback positions in towards the penalty spot, and we either block one and someone taps it in, or someone gets a terrible shot on it and it dribbles past our goalkeeper. I hate to say it, but we need to stop this.
Of course we do.
But what I'm saying is, how many times is it to happen before we go, lads, if someone gets in behind Conor Bradley or Tsimikas, can you please get back onto the fucking penalty spot? Because there's just a big gaping hole there every time they get in behind us. A gaping hole. McAllister drifts towards the ball and Szoboszlai doesn't track. Szoboszlai just doesn't make it back into the box. And Szoboszlai at that point, I think, might be the deepest midfielder we're playing at the time. And it's just like, it just keeps falling in this area. And it was a little bit frustrating, I have to say, to concede that sort of goal. I wouldn't mind if something came in the car across and your man gets a flick on it and it goes in, but it's the same goal all the time.
Yeah, and Slot mentioned it in his post-match. He said, the only thing about tonight that I was unhappy about was for a few weeks now, there's one chance conceded and one goal conceded.
Yep.
And it's like we have this one token brain fart each game. And I think that was their only shot on target, at least up until that point in the game. And it's like that's all that teams need. It was the same thing with the Forest goal, where it was the first shot on target and it immediately went in. And this particular situation, it's like a comedy of errors. There was Bradley who could have done better. There were the midfielders who didn't track back properly. The Tsimikas block, I mean, that was a luck of the draw thing. That could have gone anywhere, and it just happened to go to the top scorer in their team. And you don't want it falling to Jonathan David in the box like 6 yards out. I don't think Allison could do anything about it. But it's the build up. It's the similar build up every single time where it's clearly a weakness, and it's one of those things where it's not a one off like you were saying. It happens almost every time that series of events happens that we concede a goal. So it's definitely something that Slot is looking at, I'm sure. And for him to be commenting on it, like when he speaks post-match, he very clearly indicates what he's pissed off about. So it's something that he's looking at. It's not us fans just being like, oh, hey, why isn't that being addressed? Like, I'm sure he's trying to address it. It's just not coming across with the players.
Yeah. I don't know whether it's you see, my thing is, if you talk to centre-backs, they'll tell you, look, if someone gets down the side of you, get yourself onto the corner of the 6-yard box. That's a great area to cut something out if it's going towards the goalkeeper, or cut something out if it's being pulled back. But that guy is crossing that ball from the end line, and we're all standing 4 yards from goal. All our players are standing on give them like 6-yard line. What are they doing there? This guy, if he picks out a cross into the 6-yard box, he has to put it. He's going to have to lift it up in the air. Your goalkeeper should come and get that. I don't understand why our defenders don't go, listen, we're just going to move out a little bit here, right? Because I'm not saying all of them, but the guy nearest the near post should stay where he is, right? Because he's blocking anything coming across if someone's trying to nip in. But the other two, it might be in Van Dijk and Tsimikas. I can't understand why they don't go, listen, the problem area here is actually in front of us here. And Szoboszlai should be literally turning going, that guy's gone by him. I need to get back into the box here. I need to be back on the penalty spot. And if it gets pulled back to the edge of the box, at least he has time to react and go, I can charge down on this. I can get out to this guy. But when you're not goal side of him, you've no chance. And it was really frustrating, the type of goal we conceded. But Kev, he makes a sub straight away. He brings Endo on. He says that's enough of that. Puts Endo on. You know what Endo's going to do? He's going to go in. He's going to break up play. He's going to be very efficient on the ball, which he was. And we score 4 minutes later. Corner comes in, headed out. Elliott hits a decent shot, which is probably going straight at the keeper, in fairness. And there's a huge deflection, flies in at the Kop, and Elliott's absolutely delighted with himself. And we needed it, because I didn't want that game to drag on where it's 2-1 and Liverpool start pushing and pushing and pushing, and you're going to go, we're exerting way too much energy on this against 10 men. But we needed a Kev. We got it. It's a nice moment for Elliott. Big deflection, but who cares? It was on target, so it's his goal.
I think that's the first goal. Is that the first goal he scored in the Champions League since the Rangers game? He said it was his first goal.
It was the second goal of this season, I heard.
Yeah, but it was his first in the Champions League in like 3 years.
Could be.
So, yeah, it's mad. I mean, at the end of the day, the deflection, look, you buy a ticket, you win your prize. And the ball fell to him. He got a good, clean strike on it. But, yeah, the keeper's saving that all day. And, you get your bit of luck. But I think it's overall, you look at the game, it's a bit of luck that we deserved. Because other than the chance that we gifted up, they didn't do anything. I don't think Alisson really had much to do, bar he came for one cross where the centre-back went up with him in the ball and he got away. But other than that, they didn't really threaten our goal much at all. So I think we deserved the win. But, yeah, it's a scruffy goal. I mean, ideally, you'd have loved some of the chances that came late on to go in and put the shine on the performance that the performance really deserved, I think. We were a much better second half. I think they probably tired. As the game opened up, they got tired. I mean, playing against 10 men is difficult at the best side. Plus, I don't think they really played like they were playing with 10 men.
No.
Because when they were attacking with numbers. It wasn't reckless abandonment. It's like, we have a plan of how we play with 10 men and this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
It was 4-4-1, but everyone went.
Yeah.
And they made the changes, and there were attacking changes. A young winger came on, 17 years of age. And they were going hell for leather. They had to try to get something out of the game, sending the keeper up at the end. But overall, Elliott, I think, played really well in the second half. His quickness, the way he...
Is he the one that tries to shepherd one out at the end and it gets taken out?
Harvey is, yeah. There was no pace in that ball to be doing that.
Yeah.
There was no pace in the ball.
It was almost the same situation that we were just talking about where, you have a position where there could be a dangerous cross back into our box. And I think that there's actually something to it where you have these midfielders that are offensive-minded midfielders tracking back, and they don't have that defensive mindset that an Endo does. So watching Slot immediately put Endo onto the field after that error, you can tell that it's still something he's working on with those midfielders. Like, I don't think that comes naturally to an Elliott or a Szoboszlai to go back and track that far back.
Yeah.
And you could see it with Elliott. Like, that ball was dribbling out at like a snail's pace.
It wasn't even going out, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
And you could see Virgil at that point in time just absolutely losing his shit.
Yeah.
Saying, what the hell are you doing? Like, please don't put us in this position again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I still think it's something that he's working on, specifically with those attacking-minded midfielders.
Yeah, because when the Ireland has to track back and they find that position, McAllister's quite good at it. McAllister will put his body in there and you're not getting near him.
I mean, McAllister's like a Swiss Army knife. He can do anything.
What happens with Elliott is there's not enough pace in it. If there's more pace in it, Elliott can stand his ground and let the pace of the ball do the work for him. But the ball simply wasn't doing the work for him. Where he should have just taken it on his right foot towards the corner flag or something and booted it or done something, kicked her over a corner if he wanted to. But a couple of quotes from Elliott here that Ashley has provided, and she looked away from the screen while she was going to get this, so apologies. Harvey Elliott on the celebration said, I think it's pretty clear, to be honest. I'm not leaving. I said it the other day. This is my team. This is my club. I'm a massive fan and we're in a great position. Just speaking on the game then, he says, it was a tough game, but we got the job done, which is the most important part, and we can take the confidence from today into the next few weeks. coming up. Speaking about the Champions League and playing in the Champions League, he says, it's hard to put into words. All my life, I've dreamt of playing Champions League football, not only for my boyhood club, but to play here at Anfield in front of our fans. He says he must have been in the.
He goes on for a long time.
Oh, he must have been in the mix zone. Jesus Christ. He's talking about then his teammates, the atmosphere in the squad and stuff. And he said it's hard to describe. We're literally just a family. We enjoy spending more time with each other than our families. We are happy to be around each other, and we are always meeting up with each other outside of training. The group chat is always pinging off with messages, but to be able to play in this team, and not only with amazing players, but there's amazing human beings, the great coaching staff and manager behind us, we're in the best possible position to achieve big things this season. Jesus, I got there in the end. Fucking hell, I'm out of breath. Harvey, relax with you. But look, he comes on, he gets the goal. Ashley, I think the standout one is probably Chiesa though. He comes on, he goes down that left-hand side. He's so direct.
Yeah.
Now, I see players and you go, isn't he really direct? And you go, right, is he direct or is he just fucking a headless chicken? Because I've seen loads of players that are meant to be direct and they just run and run and run like the water boy,
He's not like a Traore.
No,
he
has
a purpose.
Yeah, and there was a great one in the second half when he gets it. He chases one down the left-hand side, no one near him, and he manages to get to it. And he goes off with it, and you're thinking he's going to run at this guy, and then he just says, "Nah, that's grand." Turns back, plays football, and then another time when he gets in, you're going, "There's nothing else happening here, bar him coming inside and hitting the shot. Keeper parries it away." But really lively when he come on. Look strong, look quick, look to interchange with different players. But there's only one thing in his mind when he gets this ball now. It's like, I'm running at you, and I'm definitely getting a shot on goal. And I have to be honest with you, I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, he looks really exciting. I think Kev has said this on one of the streams before about how when he shoots, he shoots with such a deliberate action where he's going for the corners, and he was unlucky, I think, today not to score. I think there were a couple good saves that he brought out of the keeper. I think the one thing with him, I was hyper focusing on him because I think this was his, outside of the 1 minute that he got against Milan, this was his first game in the Champions League, and it was, I think, his 7th game overall for the club. So I was focusing on him, and he doesn't seem to track back quite yet. I still think that, I mean, he was trying, but not in the same way that the rest of the forwards were doing. And I think that that's something that Slot emphasizes so much in this team. And I'm just trying to kind of piece together why he's not getting more minutes, and that's just sort of one thing that I'm positing as, something he's still maybe working on. But he looked much more fit today than what we've seen. Like he looked like he was able to really impact the game. And I think if he was in for a little bit longer, I wouldn't have been surprised to see him get a goal. And I thought it was really nice to see him be able to work on that left side, because we've seen him on the right a couple times, but that's, I think, the first time that we've seen him on the left side. And he looked just as dangerous on that side. And there was that one move where he was coming in on his right foot, I think, and it looked very kind of Gakpo-esque, the way that he was kind of shooting from far out. And I don't know. I think the future is bright for him. I think, it's easy to write him off as like a PR stunt and like a silly Hughes signing, but I do genuinely think that if he can get minutes, he can actually put a significant, contribution to this team coming into the rest of the season. And I think there's a few players that Slot's been nursing, like an Elliott, like a Chiesa that don't have a ton of minutes. And if they can come in for the players that are tired and fading, and they have a full tank of gas for the tail end of the season, I think we could be talking about a very clever way of managing the squad from Slot.
Arch says Slot on the team know his fitness levels are still not up to scratch yet, but he needs to play games to do that. Damo says, I'm now including Chiesa in my bedtime prayers that he'll get more and more minutes in the second half of the season. God bless Mammy, God bless Daddy, and God bless Federico Chiesa. I love that. Just the fact you typed it out was fantastic.
Right.
Chiesa looks like he's enjoying himself on and off the pitch, and the kind of shiny phrase, says Emma, homesick me bollocks. So there you go. Kev, I'll let you have a word on Chiesa because, for me, he just excited me when he came on. And look, there's loads of players out there that excite you, but are they part of a team? Are they, are they letting you? Are they a maverick and they're letting you down, going the other way? Now people could throw that at Salah and go, listen, that fella doesn't defend, but Salah does get back a little bit, and there's certain things where he does get back, but other times it's part of the routine that Salah stays up and becomes nearly the second front man alongside a Nunez or a Jota. But he done his work going back the other way, Chiesa. He done his work and he was pointing at fellas saying, you go there, I'll go here. He put in a proper shift, going both ways. But again, the thing I loved about him was he was the intent. The intent of him. He could play football all day, but once it's like something clicks, you can see it. The head goes down, the shoulders get lower, and then he's like, right, I'm on a mission here.
It's literally like muscle memory. I remember how to do this. You go back and watch Italy's highlights from the Euros in 2021 when they were in England. Watch him.
Yeah,
he was ridiculous. He was touted around at the time,
100 million euros,
as €100 million player.
Yeah,
for a reason. He's 27 years of age. He's not far away from Italy picking him in the next international break in March. He keeps doing what he's doing, taking minutes off the bench, impacting game. I think he's definitely that player who can come on with 20 to go, 25 to go, and impact how games are going. I'd be terrified if I was a fullback and seeing him coming on, because he can go both ways. He's got that trick from a winger that most wingers don't have. He's equally as good on the left and right. They haven't a clue what he's going to do. Watch him in the Accrington Stanley game when he comes on the right. Every shot that he has, most shots that he has coming off his left foot, and he was working the keeper as much as he could. And today,
he does. He hits the post with a left.
Yeah.
He has one saved by the keeper off his right, does he? And then he scores off his right. All right.
But
I know what you're saying. He's hitting off both sides. He's not bothered which side it is.
Yeah, but the other thing as well, when you look at when Ashley was saying about that Cody Gakpo moves, he does that in a much tighter circle. He stops and checks back and goes in much faster movement than what Cody Gakpo does. So the defender doesn't have time to set his feet to be able to move back onto his right hand side. He's lethal. I absolutely love him. I think he could easily become that cult hero type forward that we've been craving for a long time. That
like
really,
a Shaqiri.
Oh, yeah. He's head and shoulders above that.
But I know what you're saying with Shaqiri, because Shaqiri used to come on and he'd be a spark and he'd get the odd goal, he'd get the assist, And I know where Ashley's going with that Shaqiri one.
He's much more technical and the ceiling is so much higher, but
Yeah, no, look, and don't get me wrong, Shaqiri was a really good technician on the ball. He is really technical. But the thing with Chiesa is Shaqiri would be looking for that true pass, looking for that good cross, might try whip a shot. Chiesa is just like, lads, he's a bit of a throwback actually when you watch him, because he just wants to get the ball out of his feet and he just wants to run it. But having said that, he's not doing it to the detriment of the side where he's running down blind alleys, getting the ball taken off him and not chasing back. He's done a lot of work defensively, and that's what. And I've no actual problem now if you turn around and say, listen, Chiesa's not going to start loads of games, but he's coming off the bench with 25 to go in most games, and I've no issue with that, because I think he seems like the sort of player that can really hurt a third in defence. Like if you get a midfielder or a winger that's more of your Jack Grealish type, he's not going to tear past you. He's not going to dribble around you. He's going to try drop shoulders in here to get balls in the box. You can kind of deal with that in a third in defence. Just get tight to him and just do your best, usher him away. But when a guy's running directly at you, there's nothing worse, because he's just going to shift it past you. And like you said, if he shifts it down the left-hand side, he'll happily cross with his left. He'll happily cross with his right. He'll happily shoot with both. So a cautionary tale, I think. You're cautiously optimistic with him. He's starting to get some more minutes. He's starting to show a little bit. We want to see more of it, but don't get me wrong. If you've a Chiesa coming off the bench in your next 4 or 5 games, whether if it's away to Everton, away to Bournemouth, not that you need a goal, but you need another threat on the pitch if you're winning the game and you just want someone that can take
He
you up
could
the
open up
pitch.
so
He
space
can
for him.
take. He can take you up the pitch a bit like Gini Wijnaldum used to. Gini Wijnaldum was brilliant at it. One of his best attributes was he just took you up the pitch. Give me the ball. I'm going to move us 50 yards up this pitch, and we're going to do away with all this nonsense that's going on here. But it was really, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Chiesa. Before I get you, I know you have this thing after matches of man of the match, and it is man of the match. It's not Pearson. It's not fucking whatever. It's man of the match and honourable mentions. Ashley has again supplied us with more quotes here. Arne Slot talking about various things. So here we go. He says, "We are happy. We are in the top 8. That's the only thing that tells me something because the league table doesn't." Okay. Normally in tennis, if you're number 1, if you play the number 24, you know they are not as good as the number 16. But because we play different teams, maybe the 24 is better than the 16. Yeah, he's as confused as I am. Can anybody explain to me how this fucking round of 16 works? Are you seeded? Is it a draw? Tell me, please, because I still don't know. We want to be top of the league, but we have to wait and see if that's an advantage, he says. Talking about Curtis Jones, he said the idea was to take Dom off and Ryan off at half time. He said, but Curtis unfortunately couldn't continue, so that's why Dom stayed on a bit longer. There was a moment in the game where he got injured. Curtis Jones felt it. He said, let's play on for 5 more minutes and then let's see how it is. But he said he had to come off at half time. Slot also revealed that Conor Bradley was taken off as a precautionary measure in the 86th minute as Liverpool looked to prevent the Northern Ireland international from picking up an injury of his own. And
there's nothing on Diaz.
Nothing at all on Diaz. And this one's the interesting one. We wanted to win this game, but we are also aware of the fact we have to manage the loads. So I think it's interesting that, Elliott, Chiesa, see that, trusted at the end against Brentford to get us something, put on there again tonight with the game. It was still in the balance. They're thrown in there. The trust is coming. The trust is starting to appear, I think, from Arne Slot. So, man of the match and honourable mentions before we go. By the way, at 11:30 we're going to have a late night 30, which is open to the members. It's going to be just me talking to you, all the members, about whatever you want for half an hour before you go to bed. So make sure to tune into that. I haven't even set the show up yet, so don't be going, I can't see her anywhere, Gav. Of course you can't. I haven't even done it yet. But at 11:30, I promise you, we will be there, or I will be there. Kev, go on, let you go first.
John, it's actually a really tough one. It's easy to give it to Mo, but I'll be honest. Other than the goal, I didn't think Mo had his best game. If you remember that one in the first half where that long ball come in and he took it in his stride, and you're expecting him to score from. If he'd have finished that, that ball deserved, and that touch deserved the goal. I think I'd actually give it to Costas. Okay. Purely and simply, I think he did everything right.
Yeah.
Created the most chances in the game. He got the block, which on another day doesn't fall to someone straight in front of him. So he did his defensive duties really well. They didn't get any change out of him that side. And I thought overall in the 90 minutes, up and down, I can't knock him. It's just like, I look over at the rest of the players that are on there tonight, and it's like, the ones you might want to give it to were subbed off. Or the subs that came on, did really well, but they really only played 45. So I give it to Costas.
Honourable mention?
Honourable mention. Joe Kwanzaa. Joe Kwanzaa has to be.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. For all the reasons I said earlier on.
Okay. Pierce says, teams 9 to 24 play a playoff round. Play a playoff round. The 8 winners get drawn against 1 to 8. Is that the truth, though?
What?
No, he's right. Teams 9 to 24 play a playoff round, which would leave 8 of them remaining. And the 8 winners of that get drawn against the teams that finished 1 to 8. But is there a seeding? What is it? I still don't know. Honestly, don't know. I'm going to have to go and look up. This is how professional we are. But I haven't bothered. I just knew we were playing 8 league games. And we worry about this draw when we need to. But
I think the question I have is, top 8 is whatever. The ones that go into the knockout, round, the one in February that we're not in.
The playoff round,
Yeah, I think those get seeded against each other. So the top of that gets the bottom of that, and then they play off each other. But once those winners are determined, that's where I'm curious, is that drawn? Like, so do we have any benefit in terms of like the ranking of the teams, or is it just a random draw?
Dan
Like, we're
says
not going
that
to play the top 8.
Yeah, Dan says that the top 2 get second legs at home for the rest of the knockout series, the rest of the knockouts. Richard says the top plays the lowest seed advancing from the playoff round. So
That's it.
So say for argument's sake you have seeds 9 to 24, right? And let's just say teams 9 to 17 win, right?
Yeah.
Just say they all go through. Does that mean if Liverpool top the league that Liverpool will play seed 9?
Seed 17.
Barcelona will play seed
16.
Wouldn't be 16.
Seed number 1 will play the lowest ranking seed to make it through.
Yeah.
So I say that would be seed 17. 2 will play 16, 3 will play 15, and all the way up.
Paul says if you win the league, you play either team who finishes 15th, 16th, 17th, or 18th in the last 16. Oh, so it's a draw, but there's 4 possibilities of your draw. You get the lower end of it.
Yeah, you get the last one.
15, 16, 17, or 18.
But that could easily be PSG, Man City, Real Madrid. It's just the look of the draw as to where sides finish up in the group.
Yeah,
way too much math going on here.
Yeah, it's fucking mad.
Yeah, it's too late for this shit, man. It's just like...
Yeah, do you know what I'll do? I promise you I'll read it somewhere and I'll come back to this at some stage. Ashley, man of the match, honourable mention. Do I get a go at this, actually? Do I have to get a go at this?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, do I?
Usually,
okay.
You have to go last.
I don't know the rules of this show. I'm new. Go on.
Okay, so to be different, I'm going to give man of the match to Elliott because I thought that he stepped up and I thought that it was great that he got his goal, even though there was massive deflection. I'm not going to take that away from him. I just really like his quotes post-match too. I really like how committed he is to this team and how much of a fanboy he is. He's sort of just like living out this dream that we all secretly wish we could do. But yeah, I think just he's been patient. And I hope that Slot just integrates him a little bit more as things are going, especially if we've got these load issues, especially if Jones has any sort of injury whatsoever. I hope that Elliott gets to take some of those minutes and just, steps up and shows what he can do, especially against those low block teams, because I think he's possibly what we've been missing there. Honorable mention, I'm going to give it to Endo when he came on because I think Endo was just super solid and he was exactly what we needed at that point in time. He was drawing fouls like everywhere on the pitch. There was a couple of great trackbacks that were almost in that scenario we were talking about where they were getting around our fullback and he was coming back and covering almost as a third center back, and he was just doing a phenomenal job there. Again, and I bring it up just because they're 2 players that aren't being used very often that have seized an opportunity in a way that we kind of always want those players to do. And it's not every game that happens. And I think both of them took their chances tonight. So I'm happy with both.
Fair enough. Man of the match. I feel it was just such a game where they all played within themselves. I really, really do. It looked like it was fast tempo at times, but it was so within themselves. I think it's hard to pick a man of the match. I genuinely do. I'm gonna give it to Conor Bradley. I thought his energy up and down the right hand side was excellent. It must be heartbreaking to make that many runs down the right hand side to be ignored. And I'm not saying Salah's ignoring him to the detriment of the side. Salah is cleverly using that run to open space and draw the defender away, give Salah more room to look. But bar being caught once in the first half and one bad pass, I thought he was really, really solid. He balled some lovely free kicks as well. I love that. I love that from a fullback that gets a ball facing their own goal in the right back position and they just get their body in front, get the first touch to the ball, go down, get a free kick. I'm all over that. And people say that's cheating. So what? I love it. I love everything about it. I really like Bradley's performance. Listen, I could pick out things in his performance that I didn't like, and there was a few bits, but I just loved his energy. I really did. I loved his coolness on the ball. You know, he's last man back when we have corners, and he's not launching it back up the pitch. He's coming inside and he's switching balls and stuff like that. So I really, really liked his energy. Honourable mention for me is Chiesa. He comes on, and I just loved his directness. He gets 2 really good shots away. One, Darwin taps in and he's a mile offside. The other one is a good parry for the keeper. But he caused them problems. He worked so hard when he came on defensively, but he still was a massive threat and linked quite well with the players around him. And it was really good signs from him. So it'll be Chiesa for me. I think that's us done. We've done an hour. Jesus Christ, that flew in. Time flies when you're having fun and all that. And time flies when you're winning games and having a fucking breeze what's going to happen in the next round of this competition. But that's the way it goes. Anything else before we go, Kev?
No. Just rest, relax, and come back again. Hopefully there isn't going to be any bad news about these knocks and injuries. Mm-hmm. But keep an eye out for Arne Slot's post press conference. I think it'll probably be Friday. Mm-hmm. And we go again at the weekend.
Yeah. Me and are you working on Friday, Kev?
I'm off on Friday.
Well then me and Kev might do a post. What do you call that thing again?
Post press conference chat.
Chat thing. Members.
That's it.
There you go. So yeah, I'm off now to make a cup of tea, set up this show for 11:30. If you're a member, join me. It'll be a half an hour, I promise. When I say a half an hour, it'll be an hour. And if anyone wants to jump on and join me and chat to me, you can do that as well. Like, subscribe, comment, become a member if you want. Try it for 1 month. $3.99. Try it for 1 month, honestly. Great crack. Literally, the members decide, what we do on shows. They throw ideas at us and we try to make them come to life. And if they're not good, they say they're not good, and if they're good, they tell us they're good. So it's good. It's very honest appraisal from the members. But give it a shot for a month. If you like it, great. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. Thanks a million to Kev. Thanks a million to Ashley, for allowing me to host this show tonight. There's Arne Slot ringing Ashley with some more quotes, but it looks or someone ringing to complain because she looked left during this show. So there we go. Thanks a million to everyone. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat. Liverpool 7 from 7. Roll on Ipswich at the weekend. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.